G'day, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mind, where as a Chapter 1, Season 1 veteran, I'm going to be bringing you guys the latest and greatest tips, tricks, strategies, and more to winning not only more games, more crowns in Fortnite. Chapter 7. So guys, as always, if you were keen here to see if we'll be able to send it back for the win, and you have been enjoying the series so far, make sure you guys do hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button. Alright, of course, we'll be landing over at the Painted Palms here, which is going to be a very interesting POI. It will be one that is seemingly being taken over by these purple plants here, and definitely, well, I think just one of the more northernmost sort of fair places to land, right? I definitely feel like that is the case. Of course, we have no sort of long-range weapon here, so we're going to try and come on into the close range here. Dodging these shots left and right. He will shockwave out of here, which is a great time to now use your minis. If you guys do have those shields, of course, sometimes it's less about being the better player and just more about trying to be the most persistent and dominant player. Right now, he's got the long-range gun there. We should probably check our 6, make sure is anyone coming for us, and if so, to definitely be on the ready for that. I am going to stop, by the way, in between these covers, because he has a long-range gun, and we also have stamina, so we're going to, of course, make our way slowly but surely up to him here. Bait out a shot. We'll take it. And now we're going to come up, counteracting him. He does shockwave away, which is quite crazy. I would personally be trying to go for me, but he doesn't seem very confident there, which is fair enough. You know, and I think this is a brilliant example, right, of just how sometimes when you guys are in these sorts of fights where someone might have the better items, where they might have, hey, a long-range gun. Hell, they might have just anything that is better than yours. What you've got, you know, it can just really help to sort of try to be a dominant player there, right? To at least give off that vibe that, hey, you're not going to go down without a fight. And 9 times out of 10, that's really all you need to do. It's definitely quite interesting with how it can play out sometimes. But again, we are going to heal up here. So we will try and double check that our guns are reloaded. And we're going to jump on down and we're going to try and find us a better gun. You know, I would really like to find an assault rifle. Speak of the devil, and it shall appear. Alright, of course, the Enforcer here making a very wise appearance. Now, do you guys be mindful of these doors? You press this button, I'm thinking of another door. Alright, so there are going to be doors out on this map which do close vertically, and they close almost instantly. And I believe if you get stuck in there, you actually instantly die. So do be mindful of that. It is a thing at the moment, and it has definitely caught off a few players in terms of their guard there. So we'll rotate around. I want to get a little bit more ammunition. Right, we are a little bit lacking here, given the sort of rough start that we had. But guys, we are going to ensure that we are maintaining a level of momentum here. So we'll grab our ammunition from this, some more shields as well. And now we can sort of look at rotating. So we're getting these rift anomalies, which is going to be quite key. And definitely going to be littered around the map here. So we might actually go and try and explore and find out, hey, you know, what is the actual deal with these? Are they worthwhile going for? We're about to find out. Whilst we are high up in the air, I'm checking to our left there. If you guys notice, there is a slurp truck. Right, I'm trying to look for heals. I'm trying to look for players as well. There's footsteps behind us there, so immediately we go up to the cover. Slide to avoid any of those shots. We can slide on down, we'll grab some of this loot and we'll head on out. Now, I do really like the Enforcer. It is going to be a lot more heavy hitting than the Deadeye. Yeah, this is definitely a gun, guys, that if you guys are accurate with it, you do take your time to tap fire it especially, you're going to notice a massive amount of damage there, which can most certainly be quite advantageous there should you choose. Now we're going to be coming in for the close range here. He does shockwave away. And again for another shockwave, which is quite unbelievable actually. I'm not too sure which direction he went. I'm assuming he would have gone to the right given the way that the zone is. He would be in a bit of a tricky situation there. Should he have gone? Oh no, he went down here. Okay, let us go up here on top of the rock. Alright, GG Daggy Demon there will be going down, of course, dropping us some shockwaves, as well as some nice blue items there. Now this sort of, you can actually get some free loot here. I'll show you guys how to do it. There's actually a few ways on the map at the moment to get free loot. And this is one of the ways. You're going to go up to this waterfall here, and in fact I might actually leave the car right there, and I'll show you why in a second. Because all you're going to do is you're going to come up here, and you're going to just swim off of this waterfall. I'm pretty sure this is it. We could be wrong here, but we're about to find out. So we're going to get that stamina up. I think you've got to like come a little bit further up the water here, just so you're actually swimming. Alright, then you come up here. Alright, that didn't seem to work. And then you jump on down. And it didn't seem to work. Right, I was definitely lied to in the video, but whatever the case, we'll go and grab the zip line here. We'll go back up. We'll go and rotate now, of course, using this wingsuit, which is definitely great for rotating. I do spot a car down here as well, which is actually quite peak. So guys, again, if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you guys do help us reach that goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of next year. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Alright, we've got the zone moving up on us in 28 seconds. We're going to try and grab this chest, and we're going to grab the car. And we're going to head on out. Alright, plenty of gold, of course. Do be mindful. The gold will be resetting after every match. So, definitely a lot of changes here have been made this chapter. And definitely some that I feel a lot of players might be a little bit upset with. But I think across the board, this is going to be a learning lesson for all. Or at least a learning curve, will be involved here. So, we're going to take it with open arms, most certainly. As positively as possible. And what I would really like here is a better rarity for the shotgun, and I'm pretty sure we just saw one right here, so we'll go and grab that. We'll head on into the zone now, of course, only 2 kills, and I feel like this is something that this season has really had, right? Is going to be, it feels a little bit slower depending on where you land. Now, whether that's because it's a bigger map than the Simpsons season, whether it's because, hey, we don't actually have a battle bus right here, and everyone is sort of more centered into these a few areas. Whether there's just so many different ways to look at it or not, I think no matter what sort of perspective you want to try to have on it, just be mindful that, hey, I'm going to try and go for this guy just because he seems like the more experienced player. Reloading, of course, before we go back in. I want to maintain high ground. He has gotten the kill, so let us go and force this. We are trying to rush on in here. We're going to try and beat him before he can heal up. I'm assuming he's going to be going. He does go for the shockwave. Alright, he does drop quite a few things here, including ammunition. We're going to grab that. He does drop the chug jug as well. And this is actually the self-revive device, which is going to be quite helpful. And I'm pretty sure... Okay, yes, you can actually use it on top of your items, so... We do have a self-revive right now. This is going to be quite helpful. I've never actually used this before, which is very, very exciting. It's the first time I've really seen a mechanic like this, in quite a while at least anyway. This is a decent player. I don't want to be fighting out in the open like this. Get ready to jump out of this car though, Butter, because this is about to blow. Any second now. Potentially. There we go. Alright, so now we can, of course, quickly grab some loot inside here. We do hear the legendary chest. And, oh, mate, I want to be mindful of. Could be still quite close by. Immediately, I want to go for the high ground here. Trying to make our way... Oh, that's perfect, actually. I won't say no to that. He is below us here, which isn't great, because what it means is he can actually... He does get knocked here. Alright, he does actually drop us the mythical for the Deadeye, which is actually very, very appreciated. Thank you, sir. I'm going to go heal up behind this rock here. Of course, we have taken a lot of damage. We've also dealt a lot as well. These shots, guys, are going to be quite loud, and players like myself will be waiting to take you off guard, alright? We're going to be sort of waiting there, trying to at least... go for you in a way where we're using the visual audios to see where are these shots being shot at from. And you can see for up to, I believe, 200 to 250 meters away. So pretty incredible there. All right, we do need to heal up some shields. We're going to try and go inside a building here because I really don't like healing up in a place where, hey, we've just shot like a lot of shots, and a lot of players, like myself, will be trying to go for players like that. So I feel like we don't have a choice here. Oh, no, of course, there's some slurp barrels down the side. We'll try and make our way over there. Now, I know there's going to be a question in the chat, Butter, why didn't she go for the Forsaken Vow Blade? It's really good. I probably should have gone for it, actually, considering, you know what, we might actually go back for it. I feel like the wingsuit is good for one or two things, and after that it sort of loses that appeal, right? It's great for the middle, it's great for the start of the game, especially when the map is a lot larger. But after you guys do leave that period, it can get quite, you know, how you're going, right? It is going to make you an easy target, and it has that slow sort of start off time where, you know, you're up in the air and you're not really having much momentum. You know, it definitely has to charge up a little bit, and because of that, I feel like a wingsuit end game when the circle gets a little bit smaller isn't really the play. So we do have another big boy here which we can use. Don't need any more ammunition. I do hear a chest, and I'm kind of hoping that we can find one more big boy. Of course, these little fruit boxes, guys, do not neglect them. A great way to get some cheeky heals is simply by finding these little but underrated things on the map, like those little fruit boxes. So we did have a chug jug nearby. I think it was back over there. That would be quite great to get. But it's sort of a gamble, right? This is going to be a little bit of a gamble, but I can promise you one thing that will not be a gamble, guys, is making sure you hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button. Right, we do daily uploads, live commentary as always, and we'll be definitely trying to get a little bit more used to these guns and the map as a whole, you know, as this season and chapter progresses, right? So I feel like we're still trying to learn, okay, where are the healing items, where are these slurp trucks and slurp barrels? And then additionally, like, what guns are good, how to use them, you know, and we've definitely noticed that in the seasons past, just how sort of intricate, but also how rewarding it can be to sort of learn these things, right? So the crown going down here, I'm actually going to force this. Not too sure where he's at. Holding out my pickaxe, I'll only be able to pick up the crowns there. A great way to ignore all the good loot. It'll also pick up items that have very durability, for example. So if you guys have a durability item, holding out your pickaxe, we'll be able to pick that up. I'm trying to find right now where that guy was that killed him. We've got a self-revive device there. I don't think there is anything else I really want from this. The chug jug, maybe. It's got 150, which is great. But I say we just leave this now. You know, look, we've got a very solid sort of legendary kit here. We've got the crown. Right, we've got only purple or less than mythical / legendary thing we've got here is our shockies. So obviously getting a couple more of those would definitely be quite peak. But right now I really want to try and get some cover. I'm using the center high ground here of that final zone to check around these areas. You know, I see and I notice, hey, look, we've got that positional advantage. How do we maintain it? But also, how do I completely lock it down and just try to take advantage of it as much as possible, right? So, another big boy inside there. I might actually consider grabbing that one plus that. That gives me 100. Of course, I've still got 150 for the chug jug here. So, I mean, at the moment, it is still going to stand to reason that the chug jug will be the better healing item for me right now. However, guys, do bear in mind, if you're in this position like I am, just be mindful that the chug jug is going to take a little bit longer to use. And so because of that, you guys might find that it is a little bit disadvantaged, right? It's going to be not so much the greatest choice to really make there. So I do spot someone over on top of the mountain over there. I really want to go and position ourselves up a little bit closer. There's a player down there, actually. I saw him for a split second. You guys might want to rewind that in 0.25 speed. Let me know if you saw them. But I'm pretty sure I saw him for less than a second. I'm going to actually make our way up around here to this house. We've got some shots behind us as well. And I want to go for at least one of those. Another healing item inside here. What I might do is, I might actually go... Oh, I tell you, it's a little bit tricky sometimes, but it definitely is going to keep me on my toes. All right, we'll grab this, and now we don't actually have enough time. All right, we'll go back for the chug jug. I was going to say we could go and make our way over to the other shield potions there, but we don't have enough time. I want to go position ourselves for this zone. I'm pretty sure we did see someone down here, so I want to be mindful of that. All right, before I go down, because he could be inside that building, right? That's where I would be, or he could be in the bush as well. So, because there is a bush down there, I just want to be very, very cautious of that. I'm going to try and go for the high ground up here. Try and jump onto this porta potty. All right, beautiful. Rotate on down here. Of course, we will have this mountain with the players coming down it. All right, we also want to check our right side here, just in case they are coming. And we just want to be on the mindful eye. Now, if they do start shooting at us, one, we're going to try to, of course, return the fire, but also I'm going to get ready for our exits. So we have a pretty, really terrible place to defend here, in terms of this building. But I'm going to come on top here. I'm going to move over to this because I believe this might be the better place to actually defend, considering it has a little bit of walls. I just got a little bit of these walls. Try to be mindful, of course, of this glass. And again, we watch these mountains. We watch these rotary exits, or these places where players could be coming down. And we want to be very careful here, actually, considering that there are snipers in the game. And, well, it might get very hairy very quickly for us. Of course, guys, there is still going to be 3 other players left in the map right now, which is definitely quite crazy. So do be cautious and mindful that, hey, a lot of players, myself included, are still getting used to this game. Are still getting used to this chapter. Unbelievable. Captain Caveman. Very, very low there, of course, going down. Let us see. We'll go and rotate over to the side. I was a little bit cautious about going for that shot because, look, when you guys are late game like this and you have a really nice positional advantage, giving it away with your shots can be quite, well, terrible, right? It might not be the best play to make. There's definitely usually a lot of other best plays down behind there. Alright, let us see, of course, he will have 2 options to go. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the right. I want to make sure that we adjust, right? We go somewhere different, that we're constantly not going to be in the same spot. Alright, we want to be as much of a moving target as possible as well here. So, checking the size of this, I'm not even too sure what this is, this massive electrical anti-gravitic machine. Alright, I do like this area right here. And now the zone should push him out. Shockwaves here is definitely going to be helpful. We'll go for the chug jug to heal up. Old mate did snipe us, and of course he misses the headshot. So, he could be in the bush. I'm going to crouch walk here. Of course, I switched the crouch walk, and I might actually go for the shockwave. I want to try and shockwave after we get our stamina up from this tree. There is a sniper. I see a sniper. Of course, shockwaving up and over here. One more. Alright, he's got the high ground, which isn't great. Unbelievable. The self-revive device, however, it's just not enough. Alright, it happens though, guys. We will spectate these last 2. We'll see who'll be able to send it back. Right, we've got Killer Kiwi 077 here. He's going for the chug jug mid-zone. He wants to get a move on though. He's just not going to be able to sustain. However, of course, the shockwaves here, bringing him out of danger now. He's going to be actually on the southern side of this hill here, taking, of course, refuge behind the trees. Well played to Killer Kiwi. Let us see who he's going up against here. It is going to be Panda Bear 3001, of course, taking a little bit of that damage with, I believe, the mythical Deadeye. The shockwave out into the open. The 41 for the... He doesn't land it though. Panda Bear going down to Killer Kiwi. Well played to him. And ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy that episode, make sure you hit that like button. You hit that subscribe button. And as always, take care. Garnier.